Sweeter Than Chocolate follows the story of a TV reporter, Dean Chase, as he investigates a local bakery run by Lucy Sweet, which claims to have the secret recipe for true love. The film starts with Lucy pondering her grandfather's thoughts about chocolate. He believed that all chocolate was a form of magic. A young Lucy was fascinated by her grandfather's words. He was a wise man who came to America from Belgium and settled in Watson Corners. The grandfather opened a chocolate shop and passed down his magical recipe to Lucy, and with the help of her mother Helen, she has been running the special shop. Lucy has been running the store for years without trouble, until one day everything changed. Lucy received a letter informing her of the 62% rent increase she is supposed to pay every month. Lucy is exasperated by the news because she does not want to lose the place. She is lucky to have such a supportive mother because she tries her best to cheer her up. Helen thinks that every problem has a solution. Lucy's friend Serena comes to the store and announces her engagement to Tyler. She thanks Lucy for the Cupids, a special kind of chocolate Lucy makes because they are magical. Everyone is happy to hear the good news. Lucy's new employee Georgie is interested to know more about this because it is only her second day. Serena tells her that anyone who eats one of the famous Cupids on Valentine's Day is guaranteed to find true love. Lucy has reserved an entire wall called the Wall of Love as a tribute to the many successful love stories that happen thanks to the Cupids. Serena tells Lucy that she must advertise the Cupids, but Lucy feels that it is not right to popularize it because her grandfather always warned her against greed. Serena assumes that Lucy has received the same bad news as her because they have the same landlord, so she urges her to do something to increase her revenue. Serena is a successful florist. She uses the same trick which has earned her a lot of loyal customers to blow up Lucy's Cupids on social media. Dean is contacted by his boss, Nora, to work on a new story about the magical chocolates. Dean shares his ideas with Nora, which are quite cynical and shady, but the boss wants something simple and nice. She tells Dean that Valentine's stories are popular, so they should seize the opportunity to work on something engaging. Although Dean does exposes mostly on political themes, Nora tells him that this particular task is a gift he should appreciate. Plenty of customers line up for the Cupids. Lucy is overwhelmed by the attention and tries her best to make as many chocolates as possible because everyone wants a bite of the magical sweets. Dean arrives at Watson Corners. As his whole attention is fixed on the long queue outside the chocolate shop, he crosses the street without looking both ways, and Lucy almost hits him with her car. Dean smiles at Lucy, and she lets him go. Dean walks up to the chocolate store, and on his way inside, he finds a woman who recognizes him since he is a famous reporter. She says his name and eats the Cupid, as she stares at him. Dean looks at her with an unsure expression and asks the woman if she has come all the way here to buy the magical chocolate. After she explains to him that the magic in the Cupids is supposed to work, he tells her that she has been clearly tricked. Inside the shop, Dean bumps into Lucy. She smiles at him, telling him he does not pay much attention to where he is going. Dean apologizes and says that he was distracted by the mass delusion and deception happening in the place. Lucy looks at him questionably. Dean believes whoever runs the store is manipulating people's hopes about love. Lucy understands that Dean thinks her work is a scam, and she is hurt to hear such an opinion. Dean introduces himself and his next story. He tells Lucy that he is supposed to write a nice one, and no matter how much he wants to tear down this place to shreds, he is supposed to please his boss. When Dean asks Lucy for her name, her mother calls for help behind the counter. Dean understands who she is now. Lucy introduces herself as the chocolatier and nefarious love scammer before she leaves. Dean feels embarrassed about being kicked out of the place before even starting to work. Dean tries to convince Nora to let go of the story, but she firmly believes that he is right for the job. To encourage Dean, Nora tells him that he is considered for the position of an anchor, and he is in the mix with 2 other reporters, so he needs to prove to everybody that he is the guy for the job. Dean promises to make it happen. At home, Lucy watches videos of Dean reporting the news. She is annoyed by everything he stands for. Helen notices that Lucy does not look good. She asks her what the matter is since business has been booming. Lucy is still bothered by Dean's accusation. Helen thinks that change is necessary, and they should focus more on earning money, especially since profits plunge right after Valentine's Day. Dean returns to Watson Corners and follows Lucy around. He finally makes himself visible and asks her how creeped out she would be if she learned that he has been following her. Lucy is alarmed by his honesty and feels pretty creeped out indeed. Dean reveals his intentions. He comes in peace and in business. Lucy stops him, not wishing to hear anything from him. It is fair to say she wants nothing to do with him. She imitates the way he introduces himself on national TV, but he tells her that the clips she watched on the internet were very early in his career, so she should not judge him so harshly. Lucy is not ready to place the reputation of her family's legacy in the hands of a cynical man. Dean tells Lucy that he needs his story to happen and apologizes profusely. He only wants 2 minutes of her time to explain his proposal, especially since it would be good for her shop. Over coffee, Dean and Lucy have a conversation about his plan. He tells her his report on her chocolate shop would soften his image and gain her positive exposure. Lucy has trouble trusting Dean, but he promises to do his best. Dean sets up his camera inside the shop so he can interview Lucy. She is very nervous, so he tries to make her feel relaxed by sharing his questions with her. Lucy does an awful job of answering Dean's simple questions. She is so nervous that she does not have much to say. Every time that happens, Dean asks for more follow-up questions to keep the conversation flowing. Dean calls for a break when things get worse. Lucy argues that she is annoyed by having a light shining on her face. She is also uncomfortable speaking about herself. Dean asks Lucy about the wall of love. It turns out it was her idea and one of the things she is most proud of. As she starts speaking passionately about it, Dean secretly turns on the camera again. Lucy is much more comfortable because she does not know that the camera is rolling, so she finds the words to express how she feels about her business. Dean hears about how Lucy discovered her grandfather's recipe for the Cupids. After her grandparents passed, she took over the shop and started making all the recipes except for the magical ones. Until one day, she found her grandfather's notes in the back office hidden there. The recipe fell out of a book at the right time. Lucy shares with Dean that she had to prove herself worthy of it, and these words seem to hit close to home because that is what he has been doing as well, trying to prove that he deserves success. Lucy is happy with Dean's style of interviewing. She thinks he used a lot of tricks to get her to be more authentic, and Dean is glad to hear that. He informs her that he will let her know when they are going to air her story, and Lucy wishes him good luck with his anchor position. They stand silently for a moment, before Lucy closes the door. Nora thinks Dean did a great job because he delivered exactly what she wanted. She tells him that now she wants more chocolate, more about the shop and more about Lucy's sweet. Nora pauses Dean and Lucy's video to show him what is obvious for him to see. Dean stutters and admits that Lucy is charming, but he then understands that Nora is actually speaking about the wall of love behind them, not the looks he was sharing with Lucy. Nora thinks the stories of those couples could be gold. She wants a multi-part series, and Dean agrees to do it. Lucy receives a message from Dean. She finds him outside her shop and is surprised he is there since they said their goodbyes 2 days ago. Lucy admits that his story turned out great, and Dean tells her that is the reason why he came back. Lucy thinks he may have returned to buy a Cupid, but Dean laughs at that. Lucy is offended and feels glad that their collaboration is over. Dean finds it awkward. He tells her that his visit is about to be longer than the first one because he is now assigned to work on a series. Lucy opens the door for him to enter, wanting to hear more about his proposal. Lucy wants to come along with Dean to hear the couple's testimonials because she wants to protect their stories from him. Dean thinks she should trust him, but Lucy insists on accompanying him. Helen suddenly shows up and tells them to start by interviewing Claire and Malcolm, one of the couples on the wall. Helen introduced herself to Chase and was happy to tell him her own story, since her picture with Lucy's father was on the wall. Lucy does not like the idea, thinking she should keep the stories outside the family, so they are more believable when in reality, she has another reason in mind. Lucy reminds Dean to be nice when meeting the couple. They find Malcolm outside, who tells them that Claire's teaching assistant is absent, and asks them if they would not mind helping them with the project before the interview. Lucy tells Claire that what they are doing is so fun when Dean feels the complete opposite. Lucy kicks him so he can agree with her. As the three of them entertain one of the students, the little boy asks about what they do in life. The young one learns that Lucy is the maker of the Cupids and asks her how old she was when she first had one. Lucy looks down and reveals that she has never had a Cupid. Dean is surprised by that. The young student asks Lucy a question, which Dean thinks is an excellent one. He wants to know if she does not believe in Cupid's magic. Lucy believes in it because she has seen what it can do. But she does not explain why she has not had one. Malcolm and Claire tell their love story, which started in high school. They think it was fate because some things are meant to be, but Dean is not convinced by the effectiveness of the Cupids because the couple's love started years before they ate them. Lucy argues that their reconciliation is thanks to the chocolates because Malcolm and Claire ran into each other after years of separation. Lucy and Dean do not see eye to eye. She calls him a cynic, but he does not accept to hear anything from her because she would not even taste her own magic chocolate. Georgie shares with Lucy and Helen their new orders, both booked in the store and online. Georgie also updated their website for shipping. Lucy is not entirely happy because she can't forget that Dean does not believe that Claire and Malcolm should qualify as one of the Cupid couples. Helen volunteers to help Lucy convince Dean to include the couple, but Lucy thinks it is not necessary. She wishes that Dean would believe, and is mad at herself for caring too much about that. Dean submits Claire and Malcolm's interview to Nora. She thinks he did good work and is even more impressed by the fun couple. Nora informs him that another news station is interested in him because his success has brought him exposure, but she prefers that he stays around. She also invites him to a Valentine's Day event, which would be like an audition for him. She asks him to bring a date. Dean goes back to the shop and greets Lucy, but she would not look at him. He tells her the good news about Malcolm and Claire's story, but she doesn't look interested in speaking to him. Dean apologizes for what he said the other day, and Lucy does the same to clear the air. Lucy listens to her mother's advice and decides to give Dean chocolate so he can experience the magic for himself, but not the cupids yet. Helen actually loves Dean, and that is why she wants him and Lucy to be on good terms. Dean tastes the chocolate and immediately admits that it is insanely good. Lucy and Dean's next couple is Pablo and Mark. Dean learns about how their love flourished even when they were so different. Thanks to the chocolates, they have found the one they have been dreaming of. As Lucy and Dean head to the bar to celebrate their victory, they run into Wyatt, Lucy's ex. She introduces Dean and tells Wyatt that he is working on a story about the magic of the cupids. Wyatt rudely asks if she is still making those things. Dean does not hesitate to defend her and tells Wyatt that the chocolates are incredibly popular. Wyatt assumes they won't be meeting before he goes back to Miami because she must be as busy as always. Lucy tells Dean about her past with Wyatt. They go on a walk and drink hot chocolate. Dean wants to know why Lucy has never tried the cupids. Lucy is scared by their magic because of what happens when love is taken away. This also has to do with her mother's testimonial because her father got sick years ago and was gone really fast. Her parents were so in love, and seeing her mother broken after he died is something she does not want to go through. Dean meets Serena, who is so excited to tell her story. Just by seeing her enthusiasm, Dean tells her he already believes whatever she has to say. Serena shares her former obsession with marriage since she was subscribed to bridal magazines before she had a boyfriend. Serena was not sure if love was real since it took her a long time to find it. But after she tried the cupid, she accidentally met the man who is now her husband. Serena never believed in love at first sight until she met him. On the other hand, he ate a cupid as well that same day with another date, Jessica, with which things did not work out. Lucy takes Dean to her shop to make more cupids. Dean wants to film Lucy making them, but she tells him she does not want her secret ingredient to be exposed. Dean teases that it is love, but Lucy only smiles, thinking he should help her instead. Lucy teaches Dean how she makes the cupids. They have fun together. Dean thinks she is bossy, but she tells him she is the boss. Dean does not know what to do, so Lucy takes his hands in hers to show him. She holds his hands, and he looks at her with a longing face. Lucy starts asking Dean personal questions. He tells her that his parents split when he was 9, and he took on the parental role because his sister was still a baby. Lucy feels bad that he experienced such a tough childhood. Dean and Lucy are interviewing people left and right, listening to people's love stories and filming them. Lucy helps him build this new idea for Valentine's Day as a part of a new project. Dean asks Lucy to be his date for the important event, which will determine the fate of his career. Lucy is surprised by that but instantly accepts. Lucy wears a beautiful red dress for the event, which takes Dean's breath away. Lucy holds onto Dean's arm and gets into his car after he opens the door for her like a gentleman. At the fancy party, Lucy is a little nervous. Dean thanks her for coming. Lucy tells him that he and the station are a big reason why her sales have gone up. She is now much closer to her goal. Nora meets Lucy. The boss tells them that she looked into some of Dean's unused footage, and that gave her an idea of the perfect conclusion to the series. Nora thinks that Dean should do a live feed from Lucy's shop on Valentine's Day. Dean and Lucy agree that Nora's idea is brilliant. Then, Nora tells Dean everyone would be interested in seeing him try the cupids. Dean is taken aback by that and does not know how to refuse because his career is on the line. Lucy tells Dean that he should not worry. She can make a fake recipe, and no one will know. Dean defensively says that he is not afraid of chocolate. He needs to believe in its magic for it to work. Lucy tells Dean that the secret ingredient is paprika, and he believes her. Seconds later, Lucy starts laughing and tells him she was only joking. Dean promises Lucy to figure it out because he is an investigative journalist. Lucy's favorite song comes up, and Dean's colleague suggests that he asks Lucy to dance. Dean does as his friend tells him and takes Lucy to the dance floor. Lucy and Dean dance until no one is around them, and the party's over. Lucy is now happier and looking forward to starting her day. She receives a notification of 784 new orders. She goes to the kitchen to have breakfast and finds that Helen has been searching for a new house. Helen believes it is about time that they sell their house. Although their home holds so many memories, Helen tells Lucy that they should move on. Helen knows that Lucy does not like to change, but she thinks it would be good for them both to start a new chapter. Lucy visits Serena in her shop. She finds that she has been crying because she found out that her husband is still in contact with his date, Jessica from 2 years ago, the one he ate the cupids with before he met Serena. Lucy thinks Serena should not worry much because Tyler is crazy about her, but Serena is afraid that he and Jessica will always have a bond. Serena cries, scared by the idea of being blinded by a legend. Serena has been ignoring Lucy's calls because she has not been feeling well. She tells her that she has been hiding at the back of her store, just like Lucy does in her kitchen. Lucy is happy to see Dean again. She tells him that she desperately needed to see a friendly face. Dean keeps looking at her blankly and then reveals that he has been given given an offer to work in New York, which has always been his #1 destination. Lucy is happy that Dean is getting a shot at his dream job. It is a win-win for both of them. He then tells her that his job interview is the next day, which happens to be Valentine's Day. Dean is positive that he can make it back to his live feed because he does not want to miss out on the last chapter of the series. Although Lucy thinks he is doing the right thing, Dean does not feel completely satisfied and still believes that he is messing up somehow. Lucy tells him it is because he has a good heart, despite what everyone thinks of him. She tries to hide her disappointment. Dean asks Lucy if it is fair for him to assume that they are starting something new. Lucy tells Dean that he is going after what he wants, and that is what he should focus on. She tells him that if he does not make it to the live feed, it won't be a problem. Lucy cries on the way to the shop, but is overwhelmed by the crowd waiting for the Cupids. As the customers are asking too many questions, Lucy yells at them, asking them to stop. She announces that she is closing the shop for the rest of the day. They are all disappointed, but Lucy closes the door finally and breaks down in tears. Lucy tells Helen there has to be a curse on the magic chocolates. Lucy feels like everyone around her is gone. She and Helen have too much success and think what they are experiencing is a careful what you wish for curse. Lucy doubts she will be able to make enough chocolates to fulfill the orders. She is worried that people will write mean reviews and complain about their chocolates. Helen asks Lucy if she is thinking about canceling the live feed, but Lucy is uncertain because Dean would probably not make it. Helen now understands why her daughter is so mad. Lucy tells Helen that the Cupids must be cursed because her parents' love story did not end well. Helen assures her that chocolates have nothing to do with that. Lucy is sad because she remembers how her mother was devastated after her father's death. Helen tells her to face the difficult parts of life no matter what happens. Lucy hugs Helen, feeling comforted by her presence. In bed, Lucy receives texts from Dean. He lets her know that his next stop is New York and then back to Watson Corners. Lucy wishes him safe travels and almost cries again before Helen knocks on her door and stops her. Helen asks her to come with her. She takes her to the shop and closes her eyes to reveal the surprise. Helen gathered all the couples to help Lucy. She finds Serena there and asks if things are good with Tyler. Serena admits that she was dramatic, and now they are better than ever. Lucy is so grateful for everyone's help. She sends Dean a text that she made his fake Cupids and that they have paprika. Dean smiles at the messages. He needed that since he is waiting nervously for his interview. He receives a call from Nora, but he ignores it. Lucy watches the couples inside the shop in awe. She is fascinated by their bond. Dean's colleague shows up to inform Lucy that his station has a technical malfunction. The piece they had prepared featuring the testimonials is unusable, so he wanted to know if any couple from the Wall of Love is available for a quick recording. Lucy looks around her, but her mother instantly volunteers. Helen sits before the camera and starts telling her story. She talks about her late husband. He did not have the talent his father or Lucy had, but he loved chocolate. Helen met him at the shop when the Cupids were not for sale. He dared Helen to try one, and she could not resist it. Helen says that it was the luckiest day of her life. Lucy hears her mother's testimonial and embraces her. Dean hurries from New York to Watson Corners. Serena finds Lucy at the shop and gives her a dress she needs to wear. Dean makes it in the end and sees Lucy in her new outfit. Dean has news for Lucy. In fact, before Dean entered his interview, he answered Nora's call. She offered him the anchor position, which he instantly accepted because New York turns out to be far away from what he really wanted. As Dean gets ready for the live feed, he pulls Lucy's hand so she can stand by his side. Lucy watches him speak about the Cupids. He admits that even he was ready to believe in magic, but not because of the chocolates. It is because of the woman behind them and her own special magic. Lucy has prepared 2 Cupids. She thought Dean should not try the chocolates alone. Lucy tells Dean that the secret ingredient is bravery because opening one's heart is the most important part of the ritual of eating the Cupids. Dean and Lucy finally find the love they have been looking for.